This episode of the Curly Critics is brought to you by our brand new merch store, found at tpublic.com, Curly Critics Pod. Link is in the description.
From WBNE.
Hi, I'm Cari.
And I'm Jade.
And we're the Curly Critics. And today we're talking about the Harry Potter movie, Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, part 2.
How did you feel about this movie, Jade?
I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great. Like, I really liked the score of this one better. I felt it was more diverse in a sense that it wasn't just the same song playing over and over again, because that was horrendous and made me want to die. This one was more like, oh yeah, this is action music. This is sad music. Oh look, there's a theme for Hermione walking in the door. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm following.
The first note that I have is that the soundtrack makes me feel very warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Because it's just like very iconic. This movie has a bunch of iconic lines.
Yeah.
And then two, it like reminded me while I was watching it of like Harry Potter World and like Harry Potter things. While like the first one did that, but like not as much.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first one where I was like, yes, I'm watching Harry Potter.
Yeah. I think one of my biggest complaints is that Oliver Wood did not get as much screen time as I wanted, because I love him and his face.
My biggest complaint is that the music sounds like Star Wars.
I mean, what do you expect?
During the Quidditch scene, when they're like, him and Draco are like going under the bleachers or whatever, I was like, if I close my eyes right now, I would think it's the episode 2 scene where they're chasing Zam Wessel through Coruscant. Like, that's what I'm thinking of.
All I can think is like, now this is pod racing.
Now this is pod racing!
That's exactly what that is.
So I started this movie off really strong. I was like, I feel good, I'm ready, and then like 40 minutes in, I looked at how much time was left. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes long. Okay.
I think it's super helpful to read the book and watch the movie as soon as possible after, because it really does follow along really well. I could tell you just by watching it, oh, that line was word for word, or oh, they changed a word or two, that's kind of weird, or oh, they completely skipped this entire plot point. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah. There are lots of things that I'm annoyed with. But I don't know. How do we want to just go through the movie or just talk about it? Because I could jump all over the place.
Yeah, we'll just jump
Okay.
around.
This movie,
Have a time.
so I wanted to say this movie and the first movie were by the same director, Chris Columbus. Those are the
Okay.
only two movies that Chris Columbus did. 3 is by a different one, 4 is by a different one, and 5 through 8 are by the same person.
Sounds like Star Wars.
Yes, well. And then after this movie, we get a new Dumbledore, because the first Dumbledore dies in between 2 and 3.
Forgot about that.
Yes. So
Awkward.
I like watched the third movie a lot, and I can tell a difference between the styles, which is fine because I think 3 and 4 are turning point movies anyway, or like books.
Yeah.
And so it's like 1 and 2 are standalone, and then like 3 is standalone, and then 4 through 7 are like their own thing. And so it's like fine that they're like this, but the movie felt very childish.
Yeah, it did.
It did a
I mean,
lo-
I felt the same way with the first one,
Yeah.
too.
So the way that the books are written, it's that way too because they're so young.
Mm-hmm.
But it did a lot of telling us what's happening and like not a lot of showing us. And I was like, it's literally a movie. We can see it.
Yeah. It was like some of the lines they kept in or added in were like describing what's going on as if you're reading the book and you're kind of going, but yeah, I can see that.
Right. The scene in the Chamber of Secrets where Tom Riddle like writes out his name. I was like, that's a
Yeah.
helpful visual, but it took you so long to do that.
Yeah, okay,
He like
listen.
wrote it out like really slowly, and I was like, this is taking like 5 minutes. You could just,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else you would do it because you have to like scramble the letters together.
My boy Tommy, he literally, like, Harry's running around doing all this stuff, and he's just standing there. He's just standing there, like, the whole 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, you couldn't, like, be a real villain? You had to just stand there and tell your entire plan to Harry? Like, he literally, the basilisk was chasing him and all this stuff, and he's just standing there watching. I'm like, what are you doing?
The thing about it is, though, that he's the evil villain, but he's the evil villain at 16. Like, he's literally the memory
Still.
of Voldemort at 16, trapped in a book. So everything that happens after 16, he doesn't know.
Oh. I didn't put that together. I mean, yeah, but he's still, like, evil, so I feel like he would want to be more active and progressive in doing
Well, yeah,
so.
he's still evil. But,
Honestly, like, if you just watch that scene and you watch him, he's just watching everything happen. Just watching it go by. I'm like, every other villain was more useful than you. Are you kidding me right now? You are so dumb.
yeah. Yeah. I was also not, like, I've seen this movie before, but that was not how I was expecting Tom Riddle to act or, like, speak. Like, I was very taken
Yeah.
aback. Because it's like, I've known the actor before because I've seen it before, but I haven't seen,
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen this movie once, and it was right after I watched the book, read the book. So it's been a really
Same.
long time, and the actor is in the later books because there are more flashbacks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, I don't know, I didn't realize that there was so much of a difference between them. A lot of these
Yeah.
things about this movie really take me out because they're like not the same later on. Like the Dumbledore,
Yeah.
which is like not anybody's fault. How were they supposed to know he was gonna die? But like, just like when Dumbledore talks, I'm like half paying attention. I'm like, oh, right, that's Dumbledore. That's who this is right now.
Oh my gosh. Yikes. Okay, there was one thing that really bothered me, and maybe you can explain it, maybe you can't. Maybe that's for later. So at the very end, when Hermione walks in, and she's all unfrozen and stuff, and she hugs Harry, and then she and Ron just stare at each other, super awkward. I'm like, that wasn't in the book. What is she
When did this
doing?
movie
What
come
is
out?
happening?
Okay,
2002.
that's
Got
only
him.
half of the question. The other half of the question is when did the
Well,
books come out?
I mean,
At
oh.
2002, we
I'm
were up
just
to book
saying,
4.
like,
But still,
oh.
I have no comment for
Still,
that,
I
Jane.
mean, it's just annoying that it wasn't in the book, and so you see this weird thing happen, and you're just like, where did this weird tension come from? I don't appreciate this.
We'll get back to
It's
that.
gross. I don't. I wasn't ready, okay?
That's
All
a
I'm saying.
yeah, like a book 6 problem.
Oh my gosh.
I felt
Okay,
like
well,
the first half of this movie was really epic. Like, the things that were happening were, like, super dramatic and cool.
So,
Like, the runaway scene when they, like, picked Harry up in the car. Like, the way that that was filmed was, like, super, like, cool and intense. And I was like, yes! And then
yeah.
the, like, Quidditch stuff. I was like, this is so cool.
Yes.
I don't know when it stopped being that way. I watched this movie in 2 days. so, so maybe it was my mood the
Yeah,
second
so
day.
maybe that was it. Well, no, like, I felt the same way. I was super amped up at the beginning, and by the end, I was kind of like, okay, this isn't as cool
Yeah.
anymore.
And I think it's just less cool things happen in the second half of the book. Like, second half is all, like, murder mystery.
That's fair.
And so it's, like, them running around places and trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Well, the first half is, like, flying car, whomping willow,
Yeah.
Quidditch.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I liked the cool parts.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I love me some Quidditch. I can't get enough of it. It makes me happy.
Also, but the thing about the runaway scene I wrote down was it was super cool, but how in the world were the three of them that prepared? Like, they showed up with a grappling hook,
Honestly,
and they, like, pull the car out just right, and, like, pull the bars off, and then, like, open the trunk, and I'm like, this is a very coordinated. Did they practice this on the way over?
honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. Ron's just out here like, I need to save my boyfriend, and the twins are like, yeah.
No comment, just yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Jenny's entrance in this movie is so good. I sent it to
Oh
Jade,
my
like, just the gif, like, as soon as it happened, because I was like, yes, I love her. Her, like, big eyes. So good.
Yeah.
Also,
Oh my
Arthur Weasley's,
gosh.
what exactly is the function of a rubber duck? I'm like, I don't even know.
Yes! Honestly, just Harry's blank stare, like, because no one knows. What's the point of it?
One of the things that annoyed me the most about this movie was Hermione. I found her incredibly insufferable. And it's not her fault. Like, it's not Emma Watson's fault. It's the writer's fault. Because they
Right.
gave Hermione all of Ron's lines about pureblood stuff. And so
Oh,
she just
yeah,
knew
yeah.
everything the entire movie. She knew everything about Wizarding World, everything about being a pureblood, everything about magic. Whenever they were in a sticky situation, she was the one using magic to get them out. She, like, solved the mystery for them. And so it was like Hermione's doing
Yeah.
everything. Harry's the main character, and Ron is just, like, there. Which is, it's a common complaint with these movies, is that these movies really do the Weasleys really dirty.
Yeah.
Because they're, like, such great characters in the book, and the movies just don't do them justice. And this is, like, the beginnings of that. And it just,
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Like, I didn't see that when I was watching it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah. She did kind of
yeah, the first thing that,
everything.
like, time I noticed it was right after, like, Draco called her a mudblood, and Hermione was like, it means dirty blood. And I was like, Ron said that in the book. And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then there was something that happened not too long after that. I didn't write down what the quote was. And I put in all caps, Weasley writes 2020. But she said something else after that that I was like, only a pureblood would know that. Like, how do you... Okay. Because they're like, in the book, their
Right,
dynamic works really
yeah.
well because Hermione, like, she's, like, really smart and, like, does all the research, but Ron knows everything about the Wizarding World, and Harry's the savior of the universe. So, like, the three of them, they make a great team.
Yeah, street versus book smarts, and then just
Right.
doing all the action stuff.
So if you, like, give Hermione her and Ron's part, It's like, why do we even have Ron?
Yeah, it also kind of makes her seem like a flimsy plot point, kind of, the convenient, like, oh, she just so happens to know the spell to this to get out of this
Right.
situation that nobody else knows. All those things. It's like, oh,
And like in the
okay,
book,
well.
she knows a lot, but we can like justify it by the fact that she's always reading. Like in the book, there was that line that was
Right,
like,
yeah.
Harry was like, "Where's Hermione?" And Ron went, "In the library." You know Hermione. When in doubt, go to the library. And I was like, see, there's like build up
Yeah.
there for she knows everything because she's constantly reading.
But like the culture stuff,
Yeah.
how did she even know in the book though is what I'm wondering. Like, how would she have even known about that?
About what?
Like all the cultural, like pure blood stuff.
Well, a lot of it Ron says in the book. And also her like she does a lot of reading and like her favorite book is Hogwarts a History.
Oh,
So she like knows a lot about Hogwarts and like the wizarding culture as a whole, but from books and not from experience.
Okay.
There's like a fan fiction I read where Hermione gets sorted into Slytherin. But the whole like book she's like, I don't understand all these like pureblood traditions. Someone help me out. She's like, why isn't there a book on pureblood traditions? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And so I'm like, that's more realistic. If like if you threw someone in a completely different culture, they're not gonna know what's going on right away.
Yeah.
Like Hermione, like book 5 or 6, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She can know all that stuff. But Hermione at 12, she's been there for a year. There's no way she knows all that stuff.
Yeah, she would know the equivalent of Harry besides anything she's read.
Right.
That was my main thing. I was like, she shouldn't know hardly anything.
Yeah. And Harry doesn't know anything because he's Harry.
Yeah, it be like that. So I really, really did not like the spider scene. I was just like sitting on the couch in a tight ball going, please make this end.
I was playing solitaire
This
at that
is
time,
horrible.
not paying attention. Because I was like, I know what's going on. I heard follow the butterflies, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this.
That's my cue to leave.
During the Quidditch scene, when there are two very iconic Draco lines.
Yeah.
Training for the ballet. Which is iconic. And then in the dueling scene, he goes, scared Potter, and I'm like, I know these. So I just heard them and I was like, yes, iconic Draco.
He just, in those kinds of lines, it makes them sound like he's a Disney Channel villain. Because Harry answers and he's like, you wish, Malfoy. And I'm like, okay.
That's what I mean by
yeah.
them being childish. But also it
Yeah.
works because they're 12.
Yeah, 12-year-olds do talk like
Right.
that.
So it's like,
Fantastic
yeah, he sounds
writing.
like a Disney Channel villain because he's 12.
Yeah.
What does that say about Disney
just,
Channel villains?
It definitely gave me Disney vibes, and I was like,
Also, Alan Rickman was truly a gift to this world.
Oh my gosh. I adore him more than anything in the world.
His portrayal of Snape is really, really good.
It's so fantastic.
He just has so much emotion in his face. And he can do so much with his body language without saying anything.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
It's so subtle too. It's not anything usually that big. It's more just like those subtle like eye movements or like subtle face movements. So you're just like, oh my gosh, he's mad. Okay. I can't wait for you to potentially see Die Hard because you will see a side of that man you've never seen. He's incredible. Like, I just want to watch all of his movies. Honestly, like, that's what Harry Potter makes me want to do. Makes me want to have an Alan Rickman marathon. So if we ever have another series, that's what it's gonna be. Just Alan Rickman movies.
Let me just add that onto our like 7 different series that we're planning. At one point, I put that this whole movie, none of the professors have done anything. Hermione is carrying this movie.
Seriously, like they literally don't know anything, or if they do know something, they're not doing anything about it.
I'm trying to think of what that moment was. It was some moment. Oh, it was during the Quidditch game when the like rogue bludger was flying around and like Harry had like fallen down and Hermione stopped it.
Yeah,
And I was like, there's an entire group of teachers up there. Why are they doing anything? I'm
dude.
so confused.
I just wanted to see the Weasleys trying to wrestle it back into a box while it's trying to kill Harry.
Yes.
But, you know, they had to give it to Hermione, steal the show.
These movies don't do Fred and George that bad, now that I think about it. Because they're really easy characters to write.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, you throw in a joke every once in a while. You make them finish each other's sentences.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred and George. So, I give them that. They did 2 Weasleys right.
Yeah.
Charlie's not even in the movies, so...
Well,
The scene where they use the Polyjuice potion and turn into Crabbe and Goyle, and then, like, Draco walks up to them, and he's like, why are you wearing glasses? And Harry goes, reading? And Draco goes, I didn't know you could read. The best part about that is that Tom Felton improvised that line because he forgot his actual line.
oh my gosh. Ugh. Oh, that's
And it,
so
like, made it
good.
in the movie.
Yeah.
I love it when stuff like that happens.
That's incredible. The other thing with that bothered me was that who else at that school has glasses like that?
Honestly, do any of the other students wear glasses?
Um,
Moaning Myrtle wears glasses.
oh yeah, Ghost. Great, she counts. It's literally like Harry, Myrtle, Dumbledore.
Oh, apparently Percy wears glasses.
In what world?
I don't know.
It's still, every time he comes on screen, I still see my friend from school, and it scares the crap out of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks just like my friend. It freaks me out. I always forget.
And then they said a lot of the professors wear glasses.
Yeah, old people, great. Any other students? Like,
Okay, Percy wears glasses in the book, but not in the movie.
did glasses just not exist before 2010?
Yeah, this movie was set in 1992.
So, like, 2000 then.
Yeah.
No one wore glasses. Great. That's great.
Everybody's going, James Potter wore glasses, and I'm like, okay.
And what's your
He's
point?
dead.
Like, Myrtle and James, congrats.
The actor who plays Ron, Rupert Grint, is actually afraid of spiders.
Well,
And he's never watched that scene all the way through because he's so scared of it.
yeah, I wouldn't either. Honestly, like, it was awful.
It says, in that scene, Ron's frightened look and his uncomfortable squirming was not from acting, but from Rupert being legitimately terrified at even the thought of spiders.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So, if James had glasses, do you think those would be Harry's? By some, like, odd coincidence?
Like, Harry got James's glasses?
Yeah.
Uh,
Because everyone's always
I-
like, well, why would the Dursleys take him to the eye doctor? What if they didn't?
I doubt it. Because Harry, like, came to the Dursleys when he was 1, and you don't really know you need glasses until, like, you're a little bit older than that.
Well, what
Like
if
7 or
they
8.
just had them?
Why would they have them? They hate James.
Don't know. I just thought it'd be cool, okay?
I mean, you can believe it. Headcanon accepted.
I mean, would a grown man's glasses fit an 8-year-old? No. But
Harry Potter is all about getting rid of she who will not be named and replacing it with our own theories.
yeah.
We're going to talk about that a lot in the next book.
Yikes. Alright.
Let's see. What else?
Professor What's-His-Face was ridiculous.
Lockhart?
Just 12 out of 10. And the scene where he's packing up and they're super ticked off at him, I was like, yeah, I'm mad too. What's he doing? I just want to punch him in the face.
Despite the fact that he was ridiculous, I thought he was a really good actor. That he, like, owned the role really well.
Yeah. I think he did own it really well. I don't know about the acting as much, but maybe that's just because how the character was written. It's just so ridiculous that you're kind of like,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah, I believe it. This says that this is the second shortest book, but it's the longest movie. Because it's almost 3 hours long,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
It's unfortunate for everyone involved.
It's so long.
I feel like there were just some things that didn't need to happen.
Yeah. I think they were trying really hard to make it a very faithful adaptation.
Yeah, for sure, and they did a
But
great job doing it.
In order to do that, it got so long. And if you're doing that, why did you give Hermione all of Ron's lines?
Yeah, maybe just to give her more things to say. Maybe they just didn't trust him with his lines. I don't know. It's a whole mess. Like, could we have just skipped the entire spider scene? Honestly.
No. This is like one of the most important scenes in the book.
I just... What
It's okay,
scene
Jane.
could have been left out, though? That's what I'm wondering. Like, what could have been left out without there being that much trouble and they could just kind of explain it away? Or recap it later.
The first thing I thought of was the Quidditch scene.
Oh.
The only thing about the Quidditch scene is that it leads into Dobby's explanation.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that we need Dobby's explanation there.
I just like Quidditch. Don't
I know.
take that from
Like-
me. Don't.
I don't want the Quidditch to go away either. But, like, if we have to cut something,
Yeah.
to me that would be the least important. You could just write Dobby in explaining what happened, like, at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I did think the sock scene was so cute. I was like, oh, my heart is melting.
Yes.
And Lucius looked so mad.
Lucius Malfoy was, like, full evil this movie.
Yeah, he was terrifying. I was like, oh no. Mm-mm.
Like, he
Nope.
straight up was gonna use the killing curse on a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
If Dobby hadn't stopped him, and I was like, sir?
I know. I was like, awkward, first of all.
One of the trivia says that the music from the Quidditch match is the music from the Attack of the Clones.
No, it isn't.
It says, during the Quidditch match, some of the music used while Harry and Draco chase the golden snitch was used for the speeder chase scene in Star Wars Episode 3 Attack of the Clones.
Oh my gosh.
I knew it!
I'm done. Get me out of here. That's insane.
Music.
I just haven't seen that movie in so many years. I wouldn't have caught that.
I really like the Star Wars score, so I listen to it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of... I should have asked you this for the last one, but I didn't. But what did you think of the like the way that they built the stuff? Was it like how you imagined it in your head? Like Hogwarts, like the Chamber of Secrets and all of that stuff?
Well, I thought that bathroom was huge.
Yeah.
I was expecting something. I was expecting like the one in the first movie. And then when it turned out to be massive, I was like, man, that would suck to not be able to use that one. Dang. That's garbage.
My thing about that, too, the Chamber of Secrets is, like, in a bathroom sink.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the founders were from, like, the 400s or whatever. And I'm like, how old is that bathroom?
Ew.
Was it, like... And if it wasn't in a bathroom the whole time, who built it into the sink?
Yeah. I don't know. Answering your question further, I thought the car scene, the flying car scene was pretty spot on, and like the forest scene, because we've already kind of seen the forest and all the spider stuff. That was pretty much 100% what I read. And I was like, oh no, I hate that. All the sounds, I was like, nope, I want to get out of here. Get me out of here, please. Harry just being a bag of bones,
Yes.
that was pretty accurate.
I feel like the hospital wing is how I imagine it. But it also
Yeah.
could just be because it's in every movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of
Basic,
average
yeah.
for...
The Chamber
yeah.
of Secrets, though, I just imagined in my head the, like, front part where they, like, did all the talking. But I
Yeah.
really liked the long, like, thing with the snakes. Like, it looks really
Yeah.
cool, but I was like, that's not what I was imagining.
It was almost exactly how she described it, though.
Yeah, well.
It just wasn't what we pictured. I didn't picture that either.
Yeah. I'm not the best at reading descriptions.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, and the whatever the dark Diagon Alley's called.
Nocturne Alley.
Yeah. That one was pretty accurate. I was like, oh, yep, it's just the dark side. Got it. Just turn the lights off, and there you go.
My thing about Harry's ending up in Nocturne Alley is that it makes no sense.
Yeah.
He says diagonally, which Diagon Alley
Yeah.
fast is diagonally.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how did he end up in Nocturne Alley? Like, those are different consonants.
Yeah, I, again, can't explain it.
I'm trying to think she just needed to introduce Nocturne Alley for something. But,
I mean, to see Lucius and Draco,
oh yeah.
but that didn't even happen in the movie.
Right. I was like, huh? They met him at the bookstore. Yeah.
Maybe just for Hagrid to find him and for Harry to be like, well, then why were you there? And he's like, no reason,
Oh yeah,
nothing.
to like make him suspicious.
Yeah.
It's
And then it was pointless.
interesting.
That scene could have been cut out.
True. That's it.
That was a whole,
That
like,
scene,
5
and then
minutes of
Hermione
him
showed
just
up.
looking in a creepy shop.
Yeah. After they got out and like Hermione showed up, I was like instantly annoyed with her. And I was like, She didn't even do anything.
Take the Hermione hate out of the podcast.
Just movie 2. I like wrote, there's a scene in the 3rd book that's peak Hermione. You're gonna love it.
Good.
It's like all of your favorite things wrapped up in one.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Favorite things about Harry Potter. Anyway, I was so confused at the end when they were all just like clapping that Hagrid came back. It was
like nobody cares about
and it was such a
Hagrid.
long scene.
Yeah, they're all crying. I'm like, what is happening? Why did you need to make the movie longer?
I was like, cut that out.
Oh my gosh.
It was very weird.
It was a lot.
I wrote everybody's crying and I'm so confused.
Yeah. What the heck?
The Super Carlin brothers did this video series, and I watched them all, but I didn't pay attention very much. But they're like, how much did Dumbledore know? And so it's like the Harry Potter books from like Dumbledore's perspective and like Dumbledore's like underlying plan throughout them. And I like remembered that like this movie because this one was the first one that started to have foreshadowing for the rest of them. And so I was like, there are things that are happening and things that are Dumbledore that's saying that could be important for later on. But like, how much does he know?
Yeah.
Does he have it all figured out now and he's just being mysteriously cryptic? Or does he honestly have no idea and he's just making stuff up? So I probably need to watch that again and pay more attention.
It's like being a senile puppet master. Like, sometimes you plan out what's going on, and other times you literally have no idea, but you pretend to know. And no one knows the difference because everyone thinks you're the puppet master.
No, that makes perfect sense. I have no idea why Harry has so much loyalty in Dumbledore. Like, at this point, Dumbledore has not done anything for this kid.
I mean, besides put him in his abusive household.
Yeah. Dumbledore orchestrates for Harry to be dropped up at the Dursleys' house. And, like, doesn't do anything with him for 10 years. And he's, like, barely in the first book. And then all of a sudden, Harry's, like, true loyalty to the point that his Phoenix shows up.
Maybe it's because of, like, the end of the first book when he's like, oh, yeah, a bunch of points to Gryffindor. Maybe that really does it.
To be 12 years old.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of times later on. I don't have a high opinion of Dumbledore, so I'm like
sad.
trying to find reasons why Harry would like Dumbledore. And I'm coming up with nothing. But I mean, it might be changed when we get to those books. What other thoughts do you have?
I thought I had, like, one more thing. There's a IMDb review that's 10 out of 10 that says, feels like it was made by drunk children. This beast of a film felt like its writers and directors were drunk children, and I love that. Very many exclamation points. The film's childish makers made this film truly magical and a spectacular sight to behold with unlimited creativity. This film has no limits. The characters feel invincible and gives the viewer a great special feeling of being invincible if they were on the sexy island known as Great Britain. And I just needed everyone to know that.
Oh my gosh. Jason Isaacs, who plays Lucius Malfoy, there's an interview where he goes, I had to decide how to play my character, so I went back and, like, watched the first movie to, like, see Draco's portrayal, and he's like, and I decided to give the guy a break by being ridiculously mean to Draco.
Oh my god.
I should send you interviews of the two of them Jason Isaacs and Tom Felton because they're so adorable in interviews.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because it's like, at this point, I think Tom Felton's like 13 or 14. And then you like have this guy that's like playing your dad. And so it's like you're the industry role model. This one,
My heart.
I listened to a podcast with Bonnie Wright and James and Oliver Phelps. So Jenny and the twins. And they were saying that being on this movie was so cool as kids. Because like they got to like grow up in the industry and everybody was like so nice to them because they're children. And they like got to do like lots of things. Like Bonnie Wright like just like shadow other parts of the set and like see what's going on. And because of that she like is now directing. She like got all this experience like being on this movie and like being like, oh yeah, I just like hung out in the costumes this time and like I did this and it was like really cool.
Yeah.
And so I just like, and then they all like really like Mrs. Weasley, like as an actress, because she's like the mom on set. I'm like, that's so cute
My heart.
to be a child actor for 8 years.
Yeah. And not be abused.
No, it's more like 10 years. Because the last one came out in 2011. That's a really long time to be working on a movie series.
Yeah, just being the same character for that long.
No wonder most of them haven't really done anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
Just finishing reading the trivia.
this movie made me really want two things. To dress up like Hermione for Halloween, and because she's adorable.
Of course.
And that skirt is so cute. Oh my gosh. It's just a gray skirt, and I love it. Ugh, it's so dumb. And it made me really want to play Lego Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so bad. The basilisk scene especially was like, I want to play the boss version of this.
Yeah, watching this movie, because Lego Harry Potter is just like the movie put in like Lego form, and so it was
Yes!
like, so surreal to like see Nocturne Alley, and I was like, I played that in Lego form, and like the bathrooms and like everything, I was like, yes, I know this in Lego form.
Ah!
Lego
I
Harry
love
Potter
it
is so good.
so much.
It
Is it more like Star Wars where it has levels, or is it like free world?
so it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
You can like, I'm trying. The Leaky Cauldron is like home base.
Okay.
But then you can like go to Hogwarts. And there's like things to like mini kits and stuff and like whatever else you collect in Hogwarts. So you just like
Right.
roam around Hogwarts and like collect them all. And then through
okay.
Hogwarts you can like go to different levels, I think.
Okay.
So, like-
because like Lord of the Rings is free world, and you may just like meet a character and then suddenly you're in a level. But
Oh yeah.
most of the time you can just like wander around, and I love that.
Yeah, you can just wander around Hogwarts
Okay.
and like go to class and like you get like red bricks and stuff from like going to class.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Do you have it?
Like, I want to play it so bad. No, I told my brother to look for it, see if it's free on Xbox at some point, and if not, I'll buy it. So
I bought it for the Switch last November because it was like on sale for like $10. And I was like, I gotta get it.
I don't want to get it yet because I
Yeah,
don't.
because if you, like, what's gonna stop you from keeping going? Like, going on.
Nothing.
It's like split up into 2 sections though. Books, movies 1 through 4, and movies 5 through 8.
I would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's massive.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they would put them into individual ones either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little annoying that it's split up that way because like characters in 1 through 4 aren't in like 5 through 8. I mean, like they are because they're like still the same, but like it's like
Yeah.
different progresses. Like you have to 100% both of them.
Oh. I mean, I had to do the same with Lego
Yeah.
Star Wars. I had a version that was just the original trilogy, and then I had to do the prequels, and now there's the Clone Wars, and then there's gonna be the Skywalker saga, and I'm just like, this is a lot.
Yeah, on the PS2,
Okay.
we had the ones that were split in like 2 different games.
Yeah.
But then on the Wii, we had the complete saga.
Yeah. That's where it's at.
I love Lego Star Wars so much.
Yeah. Lego anything. Like, Lego Batman's freaking lit. All the Lego games. They're so good. But Lego Lord of the Rings, it's so close to Star Wars, okay? On my ranking of how good they are. Because you can just wander around the entire world.
Yeah, that's how the new Skywalker one is supposed to be.
I'm so excited. We're gonna sound so dumb when it actually comes out. We're gonna be like, this was garbage, and we were dumb.
My only complaint, we're done talking about Harry Potter now apparently, with the new Star Wars game is that the Legos talk.
Yeah, they freaking talk.
I bought the
Kinda
Force Awakens Lego
garbage.
game, and they like talked,
No.
and I was like, this is garbage. I'm so upset about this. Because I feel like part of the fun is the fact that they don't talk, so you have to like do everything in the like fun, no talking way.
Yeah, they're just like, rah, rah, rah. Charlie Brown trombones, man.
Lego games.
Do they talk in Harry
I
Potter?
don't think so,
Good.
but I can't remember.
Do you get like wands and powers and stuff?
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Now I want to play it.
Yeah, I want to play it.
All right.
We need to
Yeah.
finish this series fast.
What
Stat.
would you rank? We're trying. You just have to read faster. Okay, let's see. My pros, one of them I can't say.
Sad.
The other one is that Lucius's wand is so cool. He
Yeah.
just like pulls it out of his cane.
Ugh,
It's so cool.
what a guy.
And then the cons are that it's just very childish and that Hermione's annoying
Yeah.
and there's just a lot of telling of what's going on.
Honestly, why couldn't Lucius be the real villain? Tom is so dumb. Like, Lucius is so cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about the Malfoys. Because they're such interesting characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're the bad guys. But the way she writes them is not completely bad, like in later books. And so they're this very,
Right.
like, anti-hero kind of dynamic, but not completely anti-hero because they don't really do any good. They're this very human bad guy. That's the right word to explain it.
Right, yeah.
While, like, Voldemort is, like, evil. He's, like, very, like, dark evil. And the, like, Malfoys
Yeah.
are very, like, human and more evil on the gray side of things.
Yeah, the Malfoys are just, like, bullies, kind of. And Voldemort's more like Palpatine, I could rule the galaxy.
I just remembered that you haven't met Narcissa yet.
No.
Draco's mom. Oh my gosh. She's a queen.
Well.
So, there's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I watched the movie, and I got to the credits, and I jokingly was like, I better wait for the post-credit scene. And then I just X'd out of the program. But I can't believe there actually was
Fake.
one.
Fake Marvel fan, man.
I don't wait
Oh
around for other
my.
movies that aren't Marvel movies. I'm so upset.
I just happened to be, like, reflecting, thinking about what we were going to talk about, texting, all that stuff, and I was like, well, maybe. Let's see. So I fast forwarded through it, and I was like, oh, what's this?
What was it?
It was lame. It was just, I don't know if it was Diagon or Nocturne Alley, and then it was Lockhart in this picture thing, and he's in a, what's it called? Shoot. Straitjacket. And he's crazy. Like, he's locked in a picture, and he's in a straitjacket, just kind of like, "Ah," and I'm like, what the heck? What was the point of that?
Oh my gosh.
It was dumb, so.
This says Aragog was falsely accused by Tom Riddle for the petrification of many students and the death of Moaning Myrtle, but Acuromantula are not known to induce petrification, making this another lack of insight of the justice system of the Ministry of Magic, as they fail to notice the discrepancy.
I was about to say, like, I didn't know that those spiders could do that.
No. That's a common theme throughout these books, is that the Ministry of Magic is useless.
Oh, that's sad.
It's-
Aren't all government systems,
Yeah.
though?
It's a pretty easy trope to write.
Yeah, I mean, she saw an opening and she took it.
Yeah. What would you rank it?
I mean, 4.5.
Oh, wow.
It was okay. It wasn't great. The beginning was decent enough, but it was so long and it just kind of dragged on. And I don't know. That's.
Well, this is going to be awkward. Because I'm going to say
I feel
7.
7? Why 7?
Because I really enjoyed the, first half. Like, I was laughing, and I was, really into it, and I, felt really good watching it.
Yeah, just as a whole, I'm also trying to think, me trying to convince my family, who's not going to read these books most likely, hey, let's watch Harry Potter, and them watching this movie and going, this is a tragedy. Why is everyone so obsessed with these?
I wonder how the movie is if you haven't read the book.
I have some friends, I could ask them.
Because I feel like when you've read the book and it tries to be that faithful, you're like, it's alright. The book is better. Or whatever.
Yeah.
You did rank the
I
book
wouldn't
higher.
even say the book is, better. Both were just kind of meh, you know?
Yeah.
I want to change my answer to 5 because now I feel bad. I feel like a bad person.
Is this your final answer?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay. That puts
I
it
don't want to be a terrible human being.
0.3 above the first one.
I could never go up to 7 for this one, though. I want to save those higher numbers for later, man. I'm hoping it gets better. I'm gonna give them credit because it was 2002 and they did really well with what they had. Someone compared Dobby to Jar Jar Binks in the IMDb reviews, and I was like, oh, that
Ouch.
hurt. More just for the CGI effect than anything else, not for the actual character. Because Dobby actually was useful in a sense.
Yeah.
Sick burn.
I'm trying to see if I have any memes that work for this movie. A lot of my memes are 3 or later because nope, that one's not it. That's not it.
Ron's line, why couldn't it be follow the butterflies? That's a meme in and of itself.
Here's the best one. You know, before the pandemic, I didn't believe a school would stay open if there was a giant deadly snake in the pipes with the potential to kill students. Now, I could see it.
Oh my gosh! Roasted!
Dumbledore, the first rule is that first years can't have brooms. Harry, I want one though. Dumbledore, okay, fair. The second rule is that no rules apply to Harry.
Oh my gosh. preach that one.
All right.
That virus one, that got me good. Oh man, that's a retweet right there. Holy moly.
Okay. Things to look forward to. Oh my gosh, I just realized that we forgot to guess what the next one is about. We can do that now.
Oh,
We were going to do that.
yeah.
The best line Oliver Wood ever says. Well, no. Oliver doesn't say it, but it's about Oliver is in the next book.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Okay.
Something to look forward to.
It's so good. So the next book is Prisoner of Azkaban. What do you think
Yeah.
it's about?
Well, I mean, they like barely mentioned the prison in this book. Well, I'm just curious to know who the prisoner is, I guess.
Plot twist. There is no prisoner. Just kidding.
Whoa, crazy. Let's say it's Harry. What if he's just been a bad child and they're like, goodbye, it's time to go. You broke too many rules. We don't like you anymore.
Yeah, right.
They put him in timeout at Azkaban. Azkaban! Kill me! Make it stop!
Okay, last thing
It's a B.
before we end is what do you think the Rotten Tomato score is?
For the movie. Oh no. Is that out of 10?
It's out of 100%.
Oh, okay.
I haven't looked at it yet because I also want to guess.
I want to say 68.
Okay, I was going to say 71. Oh
The
gosh.
Price is right.
It has an 83%.
What? You know,
This happens to me a lot. I rate
maybe
things.
I'm just not a movie critic.
This happens to me a lot though, where I rate things really low and then they like do really well.
You were a lot closer though.
By 12%.
Well, yeah, but I rated it a 50% if you're kind of saying it that way. Like,
Well, you guessed 68 this time.
right, but I personally gave it a 5.
Yeah.
So,
But I didn't like the Aladdin live action movie or the Beauty and the Beast live action movie, but both of those
they suck.
have really high Rotten Tomato scores.
That's garbage. That's total crap. We can talk about that later.
Okay, they have really high audience scores.
Okay,
not high
that
critic
makes
scores.
sense.
At least
I was
Aladdin
about
doesn't.
to say, like, who are these critics? Get the heck out of here. They should be
can't
fired.
Beauty and the Beast live action has a 71% critic score, which is higher than I think it deserves. But
yeah.
that's a conversation for another day.
So I was gonna add one more thing about the
Yes.
next. I'm wondering if it's more, like, if it's at Azkaban. I'll say it right one day. Or if it's more at Hogwarts, how they're gonna do that. I'm very fascinated to, like, see if there's another setting that we get to see besides, like, a little left turn down a dark alley.
Or the
And that's
Dursley's
it.
house.
Well, we had already been there.
I know. I'm just saying those are our two settings. Dursley's house, Hogwarts.
Or into, like,
Diagon Alley.
pipes.
Pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, well,
I was going to say something, and it's not really a spoiler, but I'm just not going to say it.
yeah.
Well-
I'm definitely amped up for this next one. Like, every time I read these, I'm just like, I want to read the next one so bad. Like, it's great.
Maybe that's how
I'm
she got him
glad.
in. The writing's not great, but the story's so good that you just have to keep going.
I don't think the writing's that bad, personally.
I mean,
but
you haven't liked the books very much.
well, I think that has more to do with the story and the fact that they're 10 years younger than I am.
But I mean, like, the overarching story is, like, really good that you just have to keep going to, like, get farther in.
Right, yeah. Okay, I'm following.
Not the, like,
the
individual
little,
plots.
Yeah.
Which is why I think...
Draco just going, I'll get you next time.
That's why I think they
Potter."
start to get better as you go along, because the big picture plot becomes more of the individual story plots.
Yeah.
Like, the stories become more connected and more, like, related to the big plot, as opposed to the beginning, where they're like, welcome to Hogwarts! This is a broom.
Good luck. We're gonna probably make you die. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Thanks for listening to our very chaotic podcast.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at curlycriticspod, and email us at curlycriticspod@gmail.com.
Yep. We're on to part 3, you guys. We're doing it. We're doing the thing.
I'm so excited. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out this podcast from the WB&E Network.
Have you ever wondered what Gen Z was thinking while half the generation was eating Tide Pods?
Or what those gosh darn kids are up to these days?
Well, then you should check out our podcast, Perspective Z, hosted by me, Rachel.
And me, Katrina. We discuss pop culture, politics, and everything in between, and give you our perspective as two Gen Z ladies trying to figure out our place in the world.
Listen along to hear our thoughts and opinions as we gear up for college and beyond.
So make sure to check out new episodes of Perspective Z every Monday on the WBNE network at WBNE.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now on Spotify. Toodles!
Toodles!